and welcome to our Stream-A-Thon. Happy 2-year anniversary of streaming Realm Alternus, gaming for, by, and with our fans. I'm Elizabeth. I'll be running this one-shot of Blades in the Dark by Evil Hat Productions. Here at Realm Alternus, I help out doing video editing, so all of the videos, or all of the shows that you see on Twitch, I edit them and then upload them to our YouTube channel. I'm also Drusilla on Like Clockwork every Sunday at 7 Central. Now let's meet our talented group of players tonight. And Thomas, you are next to me, so you can go first. Who are you? What do you do at REM? And who are you playing tonight?
Hi, I'm Thomas. I do a few little things around REM, help with the community. I guest spot in a few shows here and there, notably like Clockwork is Flint sometime. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Down to Danny.
Hello, I am Danny. I'm excited to give this system a try. Always exciting to play a new system. I'm here, there, everywhere as Coddlesworth, and right now our Kickstarter is running Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus, which is my comic book. We are on issue 2. This is the Kickstarter for issue 2 of the comic book. Really excited about it. We're about 60% or so towards the target funding goal, and yeah, we got a little about 2.5 weeks left to get to the 5,000 mark. So check it out. Yeah.
Ava.
Yep, I am Ava Rogers. I am the crowdfunding director for REM. That means that all of the Kickstarters that we have been talking about today, I am the face behind the scenes on that one, and sometimes more. So all of the ads that you may have seen go out on our Facebook, our Twitter, basically anything about the Kickstarters, most of those have been me. Most of the graphics have been me. And please go back them. And I've been here a lot today. On REM, I'm in the Monday night game, the Dresden Files setting, Paranormal Albany. Check it out. We will be taking this week off because we have to recover from this. Chris.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me yet again, Chris. I play Shadowrun here on Tuesday 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 evenings. Yeah, there we go. As Frodo, and then on Saturday mornings I play Dylion on D&D Episodicals for the Descent into Avernus.
Thank you all for playing with me tonight. I'm really excited to lead you in a game of intrigue, murder, and let's be real, probably more than a little mayhem. Before we start, I do have one last announcement. Tonight, one lucky person will win not one, but 2 amazing prizes. The bundle includes a game code for The Ascent. The Ascent is an action shooter RPG set in a cyberpunk world. You can play it solo or co-op. All you need is a free Steam account to play the game. And second is a plush red dragon handmade by our very own Janity. You can enter to win in a couple different ways. You can type hashtag REMPC in the Twitch chat for 1 entry. You can donate 100 bits for 1 entry. You can subscribe here at our Twitch channel, and that gets you 7 entries. And you can donate. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. It's late. Donate to the GoFundMe. The link will be in the chat. Every dollar gets you 1 entry. Please include your Twitch handle when you donate. You must be present to win at the end of the session. And join our community on Discord. It's a really open, welcoming, wonderful, nerdy place to play games, to make friends. It's a really great community, and you can also follow us on all of the social medias. All right, so let's get started. Our story takes place in the city of Duskvol. Some just simply call it the Dusk. The city was established over 1,000 years ago. It started as a coal mining settlement on the cold north coast of Akaros. Duskvol is a community of survivors, having withstood many a tragedy. The breaking of the world, an attack by a titanic leviathan. It still stands after massive fires, a plague, civil war, and even legions of angry ghosts. The sun itself was shattered in the cataclysm, and it plunged the world into darkness. The remnants of the shards burn weakly in the sky at dawn and at twilight. This yields only a dull glow, such as embers on a dying fire. It's always cold, rainy, or windy. If you're having a really bad day, you're going to get all three at once. A thick blanket of fog surrounds the city after dawn and right before twilight. This obscures the streetlights and ruins visibilities. Most of the people will pile into bars, coffee shops, anywhere to get off the street to get out of the fog. Around the densely packed city stands rings of immense lightning towers. This protects the city from murderous ghosts of the blighted deathlands beyond. The murderous ghosts from the outside can't get in. However, all of the ghosts on the inside can't get out. Every square foot of the city is covered in human construction of some form. Piled atop another are looming towers, sprawling manors, and stacked row houses. This is all dissected by canals and narrow twisting alleyways connected by a spiderweb of roads, bridges, and elevated walkways. The Scarlet Butterflies are getting back to their headquarters after finishing a job. They were hired by an emissary of the Forgotten Gods. They were asked to not only break into the Dimmer Sisters' house, but to steal a particular amulet, replacing it with a fake. They got in and out clean, having run into little to no issues. They have some time before they're supposed to deliver the item, so they locked it in their headquarters, and they all took off for some much needed downtime. So, really quick for each of your characters, what does downtime look like for you?
Well, my downtime, she wouldn't actually go anywhere because she would be my character, Mercury is her alias. Because of her mercurial nature, we'll say. Um she's got a little setup in the highest point in their hideout, whether that be like a small attic space. She's got her, we'll be generous and call it a workshop there where she does all her tinkering, because if anything catches fire, it's the highest point, so not obstructing anybody's way out.
So, for your downtime, would you say that you would just work in your workshop, concocting new things?
Yeah.
Okay. What about everybody else?
My character, Occam, is his alias because the simplest solutions are often the best. And he would be going to the fight bits on his downtime and betting on those and just drinking and blowing off steam there.
And Thomas and Danny, what about you guys?
I'd say that Digger would have made his way back to his own little graveyard where he dug a few graves that I'm sure were very needed, and retired in his dark, crummy quarters. Went into his basement and studied or made some sort of strange and probably blasphemous ritual.
Danny, what about you?
And Winifred Bissett, they go by, people that know them call them Fred, short for Winifred. Those that don't, as an epithet, call her the Darkling, just because they're like one of those really weird sort of folks that is always off in the dark, skulking around, watching, waiting, and that's what they're doing in their downtime. It's like people watching, and the only thing that doesn't make it stalking is that it's not the same person ever.
All right. Now, you guys, your headquarters is an abandoned watchtower. Is that correct? Is that what
Indeed.
you said? Okay. Um, so when you guys come back to your headquarters, um, how do you guys get in there? Is there like a secret entrance to get up there? Is there like a water entrance that you guys can use, or like sewers or whatever? How would you get back into your headquarters?
So it says on the thing, so that it is hidden, that we have quarters and that we have underground access. So like maps and passkeys and stuff. So I think it's kind of hidden in a maze of sewer and tunnels and stuff, right?
Okay. All right. Um,
Sounds good.
who do you think would have, like, what order you guys think you would have come back to the headquarters in? Like, who would have gotten there first? Who would have gotten there last? That sort of thing.
I probably would have come in last. I would shut down the fighting pits, like wait till that dispersed. You know what I'm saying? So uh,
Well, I'm
early
al-
morning is when I'm coming back.
well, I'm already there.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, when what was your alias, Chris?
Occam.
Occam. Okay. When Occam starts to head back, um, you notice a young little street urchin approaching you. He looks to be no older than about 13 or so. He has shaggy, dirty blonde hair, blue eyes. Um, he's wearing very worn clothes, like worn trousers, a worn pullover shirt, very dirty. It looks like it hasn't been washed in a while. His jacket looks to be about a size or two too small. And he comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, I have a message for you."
For me.
Yeah, you. Uh, Bezo
Well,
Baz
what
would
is it?
Bezo Baz would like to meet you lot. You and the rest of your crew would like you to meet him at his warehouse in Coleridge. He says he has a job for the Scarlet Butterflies.
Alrighty. And he takes a note, flips the kid a a coin, like a silver piece, and then makes his way back towards the base. But he takes a couple extra loops in case he's being followed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Trying to since
All right.
he's been marked as a Scarlet Butterfly and kids approaching him on the street, he's kind of like slick into shadows and whatnot.
Okay. So you guys all get back to headquarters. Does Octum immediately tell everybody about the kid?
As soon as he gets back, he goes to fucking sleep.
Fair enough.
It's like that. This is morning talk. Like,
All right. So the next day, everybody's back from their downtime. You still have a couple of days before you're supposed to meet the contact from your last job. Um, they honestly expected it to take you guys a little bit longer to get in and out with the item. Um, so the next morning comes. What would you guys like to do?
uh, well, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be on the stream if I wouldn't be eating, right? So it's time for breakfast of some kind, and then I'd let people know over like coffee or some shit. Like, oh yeah, some urchin has a job for us coming up.
An urchin gave you a job?
We're working with
someone sent
children
the urchin.
now.
I mean, we all got our start somewhere, right?
Who was it?
That's a good question. Yeah, who was it? I opened up the note. Like, who was the dude's name?
The kid's name isn't on there. It just says Bezo Baz would like to meet the Scarlet Butterflies at his warehouse in Coleridge.
Uh, Baz. A Bezobaz.
Is that a name we know?
So yes, you would know that Bezo Baz is the leader of a group called the Lampblacks. They are a former lamplighter guild that turned to crime when their services were replaced by electric lights. Um, he is one of the bigger names in the crime underworld, so you would know who he is.
Well,
Have we had
that's
dealings with him before?
You guys probably would not have had dealings with him yet.
What's his reputation? Is he good for money, or is he gonna try and screw us over?
No, he keeps his deals. Any kind of deal that he will make with you, as long as you don't screw him over, he won't screw you over. He is a very fair businessman, but he also has a reputation for being rather brutal with people who cross him.
will color me
I can respect
intrigued.
that.
I'd
All right.
It's always worth having a look at what he has to say.
well, I think that this is one of those times when there is no window shopping. If you look, you're buying.
Well,
Necessarily. He has just
I
asked
just
to meet with us,
I
showing
go where
us
you
not a
go.
tacit agreement that we will do what he asks.
Sure, sure.
all right. Oh, I'm interested. You interested? He says to what's his character's name again?
Mercury,
Mercury.
I will hear what he has to say.
All right.
Agreed.
All right. So you guys finish up breakfast. Um, you arrive at the warehouse in the Coleridge district, which is right here on the map. Um, Coleridge houses most of the machinists, industrial laborers, and factories in the city. Uh, the streets are cramped, the air is soot choked, and it's really, really loud. Walking through the streets, there are dense clouds of black smoke, showers of sparks, and the smell of burning cinders permeates the air. Above you, there are old elevated train lines. Um, Once they were used to transport coal, but now they are used to carry heavy equipment and raw materials. And a lot of the older train cars and tracks have been abandoned and now house squatters. When you get to his warehouse, and it is pretty well known which one his warehouse is, and nobody is really stupid enough to try to rob him, so he's not really worried about keeping it secret. Um, so when you show up, do you show up on time? Do you show up late? Do you try to scope it out? What do you guys want to do?
If there's an opportunity to go early and just kind of watch and see what people are doing and how people are moving and what's going on, then that is definitely something that Fred would like to do, and then kind of report that back to the others.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, when you get there, are you trying to hide or are you just kind of like standing there watching?
I wouldn't say that they're trying to hide, but they're definitely being surreptitious about it. They're not just out in the open, uh, staring like kind of off kind of to the side and being intrusive.
Okay.
But I would call that a role of some sort,
Yeah.
probably.
Um, if you want to hide and kind of like make it so it's not obvious, it would be a finesse roll, and then probably either a hunt or a survey roll, whichever one you want to see what you see. If you don't really want to hide, you can not worry about the finesse roll. You can just do the hunt or the study.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try a finesse roll. Let's see what happens here because we need to roll.
Mhm.
So, what's the position here? Just kind of, it's a controlled or risky
Okay.
or
So it is going to be a little risky because there are guards out there. Um, it's going to be risky, and then it's going to be standard.
Okay.
And then however many dots you have in it is the extra dice that you would add to it.
Well, I think it's gonna do it for me, right? Because I'm not adding bonus dice. The dots are already gonna be counted. Let's see what happens. I guess it didn't count it. I guess I'd have to add the dots as bonus dice.
I'll let you just re-roll it with the bonus. You can just re-roll it. We'll just pretend that one didn't happen, and you can re-roll it with the bonus dice.
That seems. I don't know what you're doing. Well, it doesn't matter. It was meant to not happen, I think.
I mean, it's not a terrible roll. Um, you are able to um, kind of blend into the shadows. One of the guards that's patrolling kind of notices you and just kind of like take notes. You can kind of like see him stand and watch you for a minute, but because you're not being overtly aggressive, he just kind of like takes note that you're standing there, kind of keeping an eye on the area, and then keeps going. So if you try to do anything kind of sketchy, he will remember that you're there. But as long as you're not trying to be weird about it, you should be fine.
Happily, I'm just people watching. So, a survey, you said.
Yep.
All right, so risky, standard,
Yep. And then
and a
however many.
bonus die.
Oh yeah.
That's
Um.
better.
So how long would you say you're standing out there watching?
Um, no more than an hour. I'm not like trying to see if there's someone special coming or whatever. I'm just trying to get a sense of like the mood of the place, to see if like, do they seem agitated about something, or does it seem like business is normal for everybody, sort of thing.
Okay. So you notice there are two guards at the door. Um, one is a little shorter, one is a little taller. It looks like they have at least a gun on their hip, um, and they just kind of stand there. They kind of talk to each other. If anybody comes to the door, they either let them in or send them away. There are two guards that take turns patrolling the block. And again, they have guns on their hips. You see a truck come in and out every once in a while in the hour. It just kind of looks like they're dropping stuff off and picking stuff up and then leaving. Um, you don't see anything really threatening. You don't see anything really weird. It's just guards guarding the warehouse.
They all feel like they're just kind of in their routine.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so I will head back and just kind of report that seems normal, such as it were.
Alrighty. Uh, shall we then?
What's that?
You said all is well, right?
It appears such. Nobody seems agitated or up in arms or particularly excited about anything. They all appear to be doing their normal sort of business.
Right. So shall we make our way over there?
Yes, yes, let's be on our way.
Okay. Are all of you
Indeed.
going to the meet or only a couple of you? How did you want to do that?
Let's say we all go.
I will defer to the leadership of our smart people that make up stuff and do magic.
I was gonna say Mercury considers herself the leader.
Mhm.
In my
Figure,
head
like,
canon, she sort
is
of gathered this group around her. I don't know if that jives with
and
everybody else, but that's in my head.
yeah, that
It's
makes
fine
sense.
with me.
That's fine.
Sounds good to me. So,
Yeah.
Mercury, are you all going to this meet? Are you going to have somebody stay behind?
We'll all go.
Okay.
As you say.
So, as you
As is an equal.
Yeah, I mean, he called the meeting, so what could go wrong, right? As you go up to the door, you see the two guards. One's a little short with dark hair, dark eyes. The other's a little taller, bald, green eyes, thick overcoats over work clothes. And again, you can see kind of the gun on their hip. As you approach the door, the short one stops you and says, "This is a private warehouse. What's your business here?"
And Baz is expecting us and has asked to meet us.
You're meeting Baz? Marv, go check it out.
Yes.
Wait here just one sec. We're just gonna confer with the boss to make sure.
We are the
Um,
Scarlet Butterflies.
okay. The tall one disappears for just a few minutes, comes back, nods, and the short one steps aside. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Um, Marv, the taller one, kind of motions for you to follow. He leads you in through the warehouse, and the warehouse is pretty huge. There's tall shelving units filled with crates of who knows what. Um, as you follow him in, you go up the stairs to a door that leads into this office. Um, and when you go into the office, you see, you get his description. There it is. Um, he is a tall, really, really muscular man wearing a really nice suit, sitting behind this really, really nice wooden desk, holding a glass of what looks to be whiskey, sipping it slowly. Um, he has very like greasy black hair that's slicked back and a really like handlebar mustache. Um, and he motions for you to come in and please sit down. Thank you for meeting me. Can I get you anybody a drink?
I think we're fine.
Something strong. Oh, yeah. Yeah, something strong.
He kind of nods to Marv before Marv leaves, and Marv goes over to the right side of the room, and up against the wall, there's shelves that have just like the best whiskeys that you've ever seen. So he like looks over and grabs one, pours. Anybody else? Anybody? No? Okay. And gives you the drink and then leaves.
Thomas, what's your character's name?
A digger. He just went and sat down and is staring at the men we've come to meet from behind his leather mask. And he's not talking or moving much.
Uh, so he says Digger will have one, and then he'll just take it. He'll take his too. So he
He's
doesn't
just
see
gonna slowly turn and stare at you for a second, and then turn back to the guy.
Marv pours you a drink and brings it over, and then if you don't need anything else, boss, I'm gonna go back. And Baz just kind of nods, and Marv leaves and shut the door. And Baz kind of looks you all over and says, "Again, thank you for meeting me. Um, I have a friend who has a problem. I heard good things about your crew. Um, this isn't exactly the kind of thing that you guys normally do. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Um, my friend, she used to work for me. She owns the burlesque bar in the Silkshore called Velvet Drape. I don't know if you guys have heard, but men have people have been going missing in the Silkshore, and her business has been suffering because of it. Um, I would like to hire you to go and talk to her, help her out, see if you can figure out what's going on in the shore. Again, I know it's not what you normally do, but I heard good things, and I figured if you do a good job with this, I will owe you a favor.
My bluntness. But why is it you need to hire outsiders to do this?
Well, it's not really my thing. I'm more into the pharmaceutical side of things. Kitty came to me. She used to work for me. She still pays me a little on the side. Um, she needs help. I had a friend who said that you did a good job for them. I figured why not give you a shot and then maybe we can work together in the future. I'll owe you a favor. we'll see how you do.
Uh, can can our favor be getting paid?
That'll be an addition to the favor.
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
How much?
If you take care of this, you figure out what's going on, you help out my friend, I'll give you 4 coin.
That's not a little.
No, it's not.
But it's not a lot either. He's
I,
he says,
Yeah.
Arkham, please.
blame me for trying, right?
I mean, Kitty is at her wit's end, so she might offer you something on the side too. That this is just what I'm offering you to just go talk to her.
We will speak with her.
Well, I appreciate that. Um, she's the madam at the Velvet Drape in the Silkshore. Um, it's a burlesque club, and she may run some girls on the side.
That's we understand. Um, is there anything else we need to do here, Mercury?
Oh, I believe we've reached an accord here, and we will go speak with this Miss Kitty, you said?
Yeah, that's what I call her. Her name is Kitrin Callan. I call her Kitty. Um, she's expecting you whenever you can get over there. Um, I told her not really to expect very much. I don't know what you guys can really do for her, but she's, like I said, she's at her wit's end. She's losing money, which means I'm losing money, and I can't have that.
Before we go, you don't have any more information. Are they just disappearing out of thin air? Or in the building, after visiting, before visiting? Anything.
From what she tells me, it started. These people were visiting her club, um, and then they weren't seen anymore. I don't know if they were taken from in the club. I don't know if they were taken from out of the club. She did say one of her girls saw something, but to be honest, it sounds a little crazy to me. I don't know that I believe what she said. It sounds like maybe she's a Fruit Loop, if I'm being honest.
I have seen quite a bit of crazy in my time.
I've known quite a few Fruit Loops.
We will go speak with her. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I did now one I did hear that maybe it's not just in the Silk Shore now. It may have been branched out. I've heard of a noble guy going missing. Whether that's related, I don't know.
Suppose we'll find out, one way or another.
All right. Well, like I said, thanks for going and talking to her. If you can help her out, I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll make sure you get paid. I'll owe you a favor, and I can make sure that we throw some extra work your way.
Hmm.
Sounds like a deal.
Sounds absolutely lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. Oh, hey, how'd you like that whiskey?
It's fantastic. So went down smooth. Yeah, it
That's one of
still
my
had that
favorites.
bite that I like.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites. I'm glad you like it.
Oh yeah, what's the name of this bottle?
Macallan 37.
Oh, I love a whiskey that can buy its own whiskey. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You solve all this for me. I'll make sure you get a bottle. It's just a
Love the
bonus.
cut of your jib. All right. I'm motivated. And he gets up to walk out with the crew.
All right. Before you go to head to the Velvet Drape, is there anything you guys wanted to do or say or do anything?
Uh, well, Dicker is gonna say before we head out there, I'd swing back by the HQ, pick up a few tools. As I assume he didn't bring his ghost wrangling material with him to a meeting.
Yeah, it's probably better to pick up a few things before we head out.
All right. So you guys head back, pick up whatever it is that you need, and head to the shore. Um, the Velvet Drape is actually not too terribly far away from where your headquarters is. It's just across the water. Um, as you get there, um, the outside of the club's actually really nice compared to some of the other places in the shore. Um, the bouncer at the door, um again, I don't know where they must like grow these guys on trees or something, really tall, big muscles. He leads you in through a set of like crushed blue velvet curtains and leads you through this really nice entrance to the stage area. Um, to your left and right, there's a bar on either side. And he says, have a seat. I'll be right back. I just need to make sure that Kitty is ready for you. And he goes up a set of stairs to your left. Um, he's gone maybe a few minutes, and comes back and says, um, Kitty, Kitty will see you if you just want to follow me, and leads you up the stairs into her office.
I mean, she's not an actual kitty, right? Because I'm allergic.
No, she's not a kitty.
Arkham, please.
Sorry.
That
I
was
skipped a
You
few
her.
days.
you
A
think you
feline
you
is
think you
not
see
running.
Kate the Digger laugh under his mask, but you're not sure. Like the
And
mask moves a little as his face smiles.
yeah, and Fred hangs back, and they say to Occam, I think that you, I think the guard liked that joke, and that's probably good for points later.
Thanks.
Hmm.
Mercury is the first to follow him up the stairs. She's leaving.
Just leaving the ridiculousness behind.
Yes. She is very appreciative of the decor. That's pretty obvious in her demeanor.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. In like the stage area, from where you are to your left and your right in the back, there is a bar. And then looking forward, there's a set of stairs that lead like down into the stage area. And along the walls is some really nice intimate booths. And then there's some really nice tables on the stage floor. And then the stage itself is just gorgeous. It looks like they spent all of their money to make this whole like burlesque area look really nice. Her office, on the other hand, they didn't spend any money. It's very like lackluster and boring. She is not an actual cat. When you go in, she has really bright red hair that goes just past her shoulders, curled perfectly to frame her slender face. Bright green eyes, a really nice black dress. No jewelry. She's not very like frilly. She just has a silver band on her right middle finger. Um, she gets up to greet you when you come into the office and holds out a hand. Hello, thank you so much for meeting me. My name is Kitty. Can I get you anything before we sit down to business?
McAllen 37.
From what I've heard, it's best we be right to business. This sounds, the sooner the better.
Oh, all right. Mark, can you get him a Callan 37 for our friends here? Thank you. He'll be right back with your drinks. Um, I appreciate you meeting me. Um, about a month ago, this lowlife named Aldo went missing. Nobody really thought anything of it. He's a dock worker, very poor attitude. Um, but then more and more started to go missing. Um, people from my burlesque, my visitors to my burlesque bar. Um, we had two, um, we had some of my um, how do I put this delicately? Um, my street girls. Um, some of their customers went missing. Um, Nobody wants to come to my club anymore. Um, there have been a couple other people taken, not from the shore, more wealthy men. But nobody really wants to do anything about it because these are poor people. Most of them are poor people, and they don't really care. Um, One of my girls said that she saw something, but it's really strange. Um, there's only been one body found, and it's one of the noblemen. Um, and the body itself was odd. Um, Nobody knows what happened. There are no marks. He was just dead. I don't know what you can do for me. I know I need help to find out what's going on because no one else is looking.
What is it that your girl saw? Strange or not?
She said that she saw a woman and a man um, approach one of her clients. Um, the man stood back and with his back to the woman looking around, and the woman approached the man, and um, it looked like they were talking for a little bit, and then the woman, it looked like she went to kiss him, and there was vapor, for lack of a better term, um, exchanged between them. And he got a very weird look in his eye, and she motioned for him to follow, and he did. And then they just walked away and left.
This vapor, is it like a metaphor for, like attraction or like,
No,
I
she
don't know,
said it was like an
chemistry?
actual vapor, like the woman was sucking something from him.
Digger, do you think that could be related to your area of expertise?
Yes. Not sure exactly how. I would have to do some research. I know someone I could talk to,
Did she
but
catch any distinguishing features of either the man or the woman?
She said that the man that came with the woman was very tall and very lanky, very skinny, um, uh, almost sickly. He looked so skinny. The man that she took, she said, was a man that is a typical customer of hers, and his name was Davy Bridgerton. The woman, she said it was quite odd. Um, she had a black cloak, um, very blonde hair, very long down her back, very curly, and she wore a weird mask. It was almost like she described it as a bird. Um, I can
mm,
give you her name if you want to talk to her. Um, I also have the widow of the nobleman that was found. I had someone reach out to her. She didn't want to talk to me, but maybe she'll talk to you. Um, I just don't know what else to do. Everything sounds so odd, and I don't know what's going on.
what about the buddy?
The body was found here in Silkshore in the Ease, in an alleyway, and the body, from what I heard, there was no marks found anywhere on his body, um, but he was very pale, and very gaunt. Very, it almost looked like somebody drained him but of what I can't be sure. And again, I didn't see the body. That's just the rumors that are going around.
Well, depending on how long he was dead, it could have been a poison and then decomposition took its path.
Or they sucked all the vapors out.
That is
Mhm.
probably more likely from the sound of things, actually. Did your girl manage to see where the man might have been from? From the Isles, Eruvian, Severosi, Govlan?
Davy is from Duskvol. He works on the docks. Um, I'm not sure where exactly he lives, but I'm sure I could find out.
The
Um,
man and woman she saw.
oh,
Anything?
the man and woman. Um, she didn't say.
All
Um,
right.
the woman was covered. Like I said, her mask. She had that mask on. She couldn't really tell. And the other man looked so sickly. She couldn't really tell where he looked like he was from.
All right.
He didn't look familiar to her. Is there anything else I can answer for you?
When did the men disappear? It's after they visited here on their way, or did you just notice they hadn't been round in a while?
Um, they hadn't been around in a while. Um, a lot of the ones that were taken were regulars, so we would know when they weren't showing up regularly. Um,
That
the
makes
ones,
sense.
I'm sorry?
That makes sense. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I do know the regulars that are missing. They are not married and they don't have any children. I don't know if that helps. Um, I do know that from what I've heard, the noblemen that are missing um, were either married or engaged.
And one nobleman.
I'm sorry?
Did you say more than one nobleman have gone missing?
Yes, only one nobleman's body's been found, but at least two other that I know of have been missing.
And
Um,
were the noblemen regulars as well?
it's- the we've seen them around before. They were not regulars,
But they
and
have visited.
they were customers of the street girls. They were not customers of the burlesque
Right,
show.
but they were your customers.
Yes.
Have you heard of anyone not connected to the brothel gone missing in similar fashion?
Um, and she like sits and she thinks, um, not that I know of, but there may have been. I don't know if there are any other nobles that have been missing.
It sounds as though whomever or whatever this is using your business as their hunting grounds, for lack of a better term.
I was
And
afraid of that.
our best bet at catching them at the moment feels like perhaps a honeypot trap. Where she looks at Digger and Occam, you're both male presenting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you think so. Digger doesn't take off his mask very often.
Oh yeah, she looks at Digger at
It's
the
like,
mask and then looks at Occam. One of us would be bait. Unless we
That's you,
find
Occam.
another regular of yours willing to play the part, but
I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind dressing up for a date.
Just protect your vapors.
Alrighty.
so
before we we put that in motion, I'd like to do some research and maybe talk to a few people
Right,
about what that could be before we throw one of our own in the maw of the creature.
right. Well, if they go after regulars, it might take a few nights before they pick the
Oh,
next target. How long has it been since the last disappeared?
Ronald's the body that was found. He, as far as I know, he was the last, and that was a week ago.
What is
And
the rate of disappearance?
Um,
she just
uh,
gestures at Fred.
there's been
Because that was her next question.
at least two a week for a month. Um, Ronald's Ronald Clermont, he was the body that was found, and he went missing a week ago, and he was found 3 days ago.
So roughly 2 every week. Hmm.
So, I
now
believe
do they have the same day every week, or the same
Um,
days every week?
no, not necessarily. I haven't noticed any real pattern there.
alright, so we obviously, Digger, you said you have someone to contact. That would be good. More information is always better. Um, Occam, if you could
Boss.
visit nightly,
Oh no, whatever shall I do? Oh, that sucks. I have to come here every night?
you should keep yourself sober enough to react to what might happen. However, I will myself and perhaps Fred, whomever, will be nearby should something happen. And
I mean,
whatever Digger puts
not
in
too
place
nearby,
for
I
you,
hope.
not too nearby.
Okay. I mean,
Do
yeah.
you do
But
you
this
have
feels our best place to find them.
do you have some manner of performance anxiety? I think it's important that we are able to
Fred,
maintain eyes in case
please,
something happens untoward.
please, Fred. We know these are physical beings. They will have to use an entrance. So we can be outside the building.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be using
And
entrances, all right.
it sounds as though they are not taken from inside the building, so we will need to follow Occam when he leaves. But he need to show up, stay for a few hours, and then be seen leaving again.
I do have private rooms on the other side if that's needed for anything.
I need not know the details of what happens while he's here.
I mean, I could tell you stories all on my own
I'd
if you need.
rather not. I'd rather you
Okay.
not.
Oh, okay. I know. I got you. Fine. Fine.
Seeing
Uh,
is believing.
oh,
Well,
I mean,
we will take our leave for now. We will do what research and preparation we can. And at the very least, you will see Occam tonight.
Right. Let me give you this. And she grabs a piece of paper and a pen. And she hands you a piece of paper. On the top it says cinnamon, and then there's an address. And then
Mhm.
underneath of it, it says, I have a name. Hold on. Constance.
oops. Okay.
Constance Clearmont, and then another address. And she says, Cinnamon is my girl who saw the woman, and Constance is the widow of the man that was found. So if you need to talk to them, that's the address,
Perfect. Thank you.
of course. I am here all the time, so if you need anything from me, if you have any questions, if you need any help, please, I will instruct my bouncers at the door to let any of you in at any time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, and I know that this is a hardship for you, so when you're here, you can drink for free.
Oh dear.
Uh, uh, I like this
Remain
place so much.
sober until we solve this. You may a drink, maybe two, but keep your wits about you.
I got you, Warden. Like he's afraid to just let me be great.
I am afraid to let you loose with an open tab.
You're right.
Sorry, I just
I'm
wanted
not
to
the
see what
most
kind of chaos
fiscally
that was gonna.
responsible.
Anyway, I am not your mother. Do what you will, but do not muck this up. Because it may be your life on the line. If it
And
works.
and if something bad were to happen, we don't know it's happening, and so we can't help you.
Gotcha. I
All right.
appreciate your concern.
We'll take our leave for now.
Of course.
Well, do we seek out this cinnamon, or do we speak to Constance first?
Cinnamon first, I think. She
And
actually
Digger,
saw the couple.
and Digger, you've got someone to talk to as well.
Yes. I'll come with you for cinnamon, but leave the widow to you.
Is your friend you're going to consult?
Uh,
Or what is their area of expertise?
let's say they could know about what kind of creature or magic could do that sort of things. The
All right.
consuming of someone's energy via whatever way.
I feel like this conversation is like happening like as they're leaving.
Hmm.
I also feel I'm not sure they might have the ear to the ground for this. I might have someone I could ask. It could be a new cult, given the
Possible.
mask. It seems like the man with her was possibly a bodyguard, one that she had already, for want of a better term, fed on.
That's the question now too.
If he was gaunt and
Is
sickly, and that is
oh
how
yes, he
the body was
was.
found.
The questions I was referring to is what are they doing with that energy? Are they
I
feeding off
suppose
it, or are they using it for something else?
that would depend on what manner of magic is doing this, whether it be a creature or an individual. A person. Anyway,
But yes, I'll follow you for the first interview, and I'll take my leave after that. Should be a good time for me to meet my contact.
I think we need to
Um,
talk to Cinnamon.
all right. So Cinnamon lives in Silkshore, across the way from the Velvet Drape. So Cinnamon is here. Um, when you get to the building, um it looks like an apartment building, but it's like one of like the row houses. It looks like one of the row houses has been converted into small apartments.
Hmm.
Um, and she lives on the third floor with her sister. Um, so when you get there and knock on the door, there's a very pretty, kind of like maybe 5'4" um, brown skinned, very pretty woman, with short, straight hair. Can I help you?
Yes, we are looking. I wish you'd given us a real name? For Cinnamon.
Oh, that's my sister. Hold on. Come on in. I'm Sugar. Um, Cinnamon. Some people are here to see you.
As
Um,
as as she's doing that, I look and I go, "Is your real name Mercury?"
No,
Hmm,
that's just what people call me.
indeed.
Cinnamon comes down the hall. Looks.
Question.
Yes.
Brown skin as in, like, Egyptian and that sort of area, or, like, more Chris?
Black, yeah.
Black, yeah. I was trying to find another way to put that. Where are
Um,
they at on the range of
they are.
POC?
They are light-skinned Black women.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, because Mercury is Eruvian, so she's got that tanned Egyptian complexion. Um,
Um,
so
no,
I was,
these are twins. They're light brown skin, very beautiful. One has Sugar has the short, dark hair, and then Cinnamon has longer, straight hair.
okay.
Um, but yeah, so they come in. They invite you to sit down. Um, Kitty, is this about what's going on?
Yes, we
Kit,
are hoping to find out what is going on and stop it.
she looks very nervous and uncomfortable. And she says, Kitty told me that somebody might be by to talk to me. Um, Everyone thinks that I'm crazy, but I know what I saw.
We don't think you're crazy. Speak.
Um, I saw Davy, and he's a client, and I was going to welcome him. Um, and before I could get over there, I noticed the man first, and he was very tall, and very, very skinny. He looked ill almost. Um, and he had this woman with him, and she looked very out of place. Um, Very long blonde hair. She had a mask on her face that looked like a bird. What is that bird? Sugar, you know what I'm talking about. The really pretty one with the blues and the purples. And her sister stops her and says, a peacock? And she said, yeah, like a peacock. Has the feathers. Um, uh, and she had a really nice thick cloak. Um, and she motioned for the other man to stop, and he just stood there. And she went over to Davy, and I thought maybe they knew each other because he just stopped and stood there as she walked up to him. And she was talking, and he just stood there. And then she leaned in, and I thought she was going to kiss him. I thought maybe she was taking my client. Um, and as she pulled away, there was this like white smoke coming from his mouth. Um, and he had this like weird look in his eye. And after that, she motioned for him to follow her, and they just left. It was the weirdest thing, and we haven't seen him since.
And while this was happening, did you notice any smell or sound in the area? Something else that seemed out of place.
She stops for a minute and thinks really hard and she says, no, I didn't.
And you didn't recognize the man. He wasn't one of your the sickly man. He wasn't one of your regulars, or
No, I don't think I've ever seen him before.
well, that trashes that idea.
I mean, like I said, he looked really ill. So maybe when he was more healthy looking, I might have recognized him, but at this point I don't know that I'd seen him before.
Well, for nobleman Claremont, his body wasn't to the point where he couldn't be recognized. So I think, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Don't mind me.
So you don't think I'm crazy?
No.
No.
Oh dear.
Anything else you can remember from that evening? Someone coming in the bar to that you noticed was out of place.
I don't spend much time in the bar. Um, my sister does. My sister's a dancer. She's a really, really good dancer. If you ever get the chance, you should watch her. She is phenomenal. And Sugar says, I don't remember seeing them in the bar, to my knowledge.
Well, anything weird, anything that seemed out of place that you can remember in the past month, anything that might have been perhaps you shoved it to the back of your mind and didn't think about it, but that might just be a little bit weird.
Um, one of the one of the regulars um was in one night, and this was probably a week after my sister saw the weird man and the woman. One of the regulars came um and sat in his usual table, but he was just weird. Like he wasn't enjoying the show like he normally does. He just kind of sat there. And then he sat there for maybe about an hour, and then he got up and left. And that was the last time we saw him.
No. All right. That does seem really odd. All right. Mercury looks at Digger. This is kind of his area, so he's taking the lead on this one. And if he's got no more questions, then
Well, I don't know what I would ask more. Did you see the body when they found it?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Did you see the body of your client when it was found?
No,
Clearmont.
no,
Right.
I didn't see it. I heard rumors. I heard rumors that was a little weird that he wasn't stabbed or shot or anything, and that they don't know why he died.
Right.
Well, I think for now that's all I have.
If you think of anything else, we'll be around the what did you call the bar, the place, the
Uh, Velvet Drape.
Velvet Drape.
Mhm.
Um, we'll be by the Velvet Drape on the regular. So if you can get a message to why am I forgetting names? To Kitron or meet us there yourself even. Um, that'll probably be best how to reach us if you remember anything else.
Oh, okay. All right, we will. Thank you for not laughing at me and thinking I'm crazy.
I've seen weirder.
I've been laughed at all my life, so um, hmm. um, and if they look, they will see. As Fred is Tykeros, she does have some oddities, or they have some oddities about the way they look. So, um, and especially it's most notable in the eyes, which is why they're always like deep in their hood, um, because they do have like a black sclera and red iris.
All right, well, we'll be out of your hair.
All right, well, we'll be seeing you around, I guess.
Digger nods and gets up, picks up his lightning hook that was leaning against the wall, and starts getting out the door.
So at this point, what would you guys like to do?
don't know if we'd gain anything else from talking to the widow. Because she wouldn't be like a medical professional that would be able to tell us anything weird with the body. Although I'm not sure what level of medicine we're talking about in Duskfall.
I think
Yeah.
I think that there could be benefit talking to the widow if we determine what she did or did not know about her husband's journeys to the velvet drapes or the workers there, because that seems to be a common connecting thread. Yes, that all of
Yes,
the victims
definitely.
have a partner.
She might be able to help us establish a little bit more clearer timeline.
That
And
or motive.
indeed, and if she knows where they took the body, we could maybe get a chance to take a look at it.
Yes, if someone at the university perhaps wanted to look at the body, I might be able to contact someone. All right.
I will let you go and scurry away to meet my contact.
Yes.
We'll meet you after we're done at the HQ or at the bar.
And then are
Be
we
back at
going
the Velvet
to?
Drape.
And are you going? Are we going to speak with the widow?
Yes.
Okay.
Which group would like to go first? Do you guys want to go first, talk to the widow, or does Thomas want to go first?
I don't mind.
I'll let Thomas go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I feel
once
like I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry.
and then
You're
once
the
they do
group's
that, we'll take a
face. It's fine.
I don't know if I have the skills to back that up. But I might be the closest. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. I think as far as that for Digger. What the person Digger is gonna go and see is Skurlock, one of his strange friends who's a vampire who might know about beings that consume the energy of other beings to sustain themselves. I mean, if I let him know that, well, there's some people that are like muscling in his feeding ground, maybe he'd be inclined to share some information with the Digger.
All right. Skurlock lives in a dilapidated manor house in Six Towers. And he has a secret lair under his house that he hangs out in. So do you meet him there or do you meet him somewhere else?
Um, I'd say I'd say he goes there and leaves some sort of cryptic note filled with strange glyphs in a specific place on the manor's like surroundings that Skurlock knows to find and check. And then they meet somewhere else to avoid avoid having people going in and out of the manor. That's not very subtle.
Well, you do have maps and passkeys through all of the underground tunnels.
Oh,
So you could meet him somewhere under there if you wanted.
oh, okay. So, well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna meet him underground in tunnels and whatnot. Not too far from his mansion. We arrange a meeting.
Okay. He shows up. What can I do for you?
Had a few questions for you about uh about a series of disappearance recently. I'm not blaming you, but um from witness account, someone has been sucking out energy from unsuspecting victims, and I figured you might know a little something about that.
I've heard whispers of these missing men. Um, Most of them, if have heard correctly, are poor and downtrodden men who frequent the shore. Is that correct?
Uh, Partially. Uh, Not all pores. I think a nobleman was found dead, but uh, they it was mostly in the shore. Although I've heard recently it's been spreading out.
Mm, that's distressing. Um, I've only heard rumors. Um, from what I've heard, it sounds like we might be looking at someone who uses the life force of others to sustain themselves.
That's what it appeared to.
Mm.
Any idea of what kind of creatures or cult could do that? And also would be wearing peacock mask while doing so.
Peacock mask, you say? That is weird.
Yes.
Um, there are different types of vampires. Um, some drink blood to stay alive, and others can suck the life force directly from someone else and absorb it to extend their life. Um,
Hmm.
so if I had to guess, I would think that's what that sounds like. I have not heard of any new vampires, but that does not mean that they are not trying to stay off my radar.
I see. Some sort of energy vampire.
Exactly.
Would you have any idea of what that would look like? Rumors we heard spoke of smoke of or vapor being sucked out of the victim's mouth, and then victim being controlled by their assailant.
Well, it is possible to not immediately drain someone. Um, if a vampire were to, say, drain a little, that person could be enthralled by the vampire, and therefore the vampire could control them. They would want to do whatever they could to make this person happy.
That seems to fit the bill.
Mm. It could be that that's why
Hmm.
there aren't any bodies. It could just be that this person is likes variety, and wherever they are, they have these people enthralled, to feed on whenever.
They, from the witness account, they had a troll with them and then fed from somebody else to create a new troll. What? How frequent would you say they would feel the need to feed if uh, if we would compare it to your own situation?
um, well, I'm a little different. I only really need to feed maybe once a week. um, for someone who is feeding more often, it sounds almost like they um, enjoy not only the feeding process, but keeping these people as thralls to do their bidding, to get something else from them besides food. And just because you haven't found bodies does not necessarily mean that they have not killed more people.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm familiar with hiding bodies. He grins under his masks. Well, I appreciate the help. And, well,
I will do
uh,
research, and if I come up with anything that could help you, I will reach out.
much appreciated.
Of course.
And I'll make sure that this new pest gets off your territory in exchange.
I would greatly appreciate that, my friend.
I was sure you would. Well, enjoy this beautiful night. I will keep an ear open for your messengers.
All right. And before we get to the next group, we are going to get ready to take a quick break. But before we do, I just wanted to remind everybody that we are giving away 2 items tonight. We are giving away a game code for the Ascent and a red plush dragon made by our very own Janity. You can get entries into the raffle by typing hashtag RemPC in the Twitch chat, donating 100 bits for 1 entry, and subscribing to our Twitch gets you 7 entries, and donating to our GoFundMe, 1 entry for every dollar. Please include your Twitch handle in your donator name. And with that, we are going to take a quick break and then we will get back. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's getting late, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. Um, we are going to go straight into the other group who was going to meet the widow. Is that correct?
Yes, but so we're gonna split the group further because
Awesome.
uh it's more efficient that way. Um Fred, um Arkham, could you handle the widow? Just get whatever information you can, be as understanding and empathetic as you can, but find out what you can
Um,
from her. I have a friend to contact. See if you can find out where the body was taken. If anybody wanted a special look at it because it was a weird death. And make
Sounds
sure
yeah.
she
sounds like a
knows we're looking into the person responsible for his death. And perhaps see if she might pay a little bit more for that knowledge.
Um, oh, okay. Sure, we'll do just that.
That'd be great. So which group would like to go first?
I want to see how these two do talking to the widow.
All
plan.
right. Um, the Claremont estate. It's a townhouse, really, really nice townhouse in Brightstone, which is the wealthy district. Um, do you guys just go up and knock on the door? What do you guys do?
Oh, I mean, this is the kind of place where Fred pulls their hood like real low and tries to just stay as much out of the main streets and light as possible. But
That's Occam in the lead.
Alrighty.
I
And
uh
Occam is just going to knock on the front door if he's in the lead. Oh, sorry. Continue, David.
All right. Um, a tall, older gentleman answers the door. Um, I don't know if anybody watches Archer, but he kind of resembles Woodhouse a little.
Ha!
Okay.
Love it.
Hmm? Um, can I help you?
uh,
think I think we're here to help you. Or at least the lady.
it's, what the widow might be in.
She is? Is she expecting you?
It's not as such, but we're here to speak to her about her late husband. We are investigating the incident.
He kind of just stares at you both for a moment and then says, "Come in. I'll see if the lady is seeing visitors."
Hmm.
Uh, He leads you into a very tastefully decorated sitting room, and kind of looks and says, "Please don't touch anything. I will be right back." And he leaves to go get the widow. Um,
Point of
What's
order.
as soon as he gets out? Like, what objects are touchable in this room?
there are several vases with flowers in them. There are candlesticks. There's like a little like bar cart that has some bottles of wine, a couple of bottles of not as good whiskey as you had earlier, um, but some decent whiskey. Um, there's a small fireplace, and there's like pictures on the wall. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here that you can
Yeah.
touch.
Oh,
So
I'm definitely
Fred
picking up a bottle of wine and looking at it. But yeah, continue, sir.
Fred was going to not touch anything until that was said. And then what Fred does is they go around and touch everything, but like in the back and around, so that it's like not right up front, but rather just like, and their fingers are dirty, so it's gonna leave smudge marks. But they're just doing it like where you don't see it right away. You like it's not until like you come up on something like to like when you walk up to the flowers to enjoy them, then you'll notice that the vase is all like dirty on the backside. And that's what Fred will do.
Why did I
Amazing.
leave these two to go alone?
I'm so glad you did. It's going to be so much fun. Um, about 10 minutes later, the
That's plenty of
doors
time.
to just smudge everything in the room. The doors swing open, and this short, stout woman comes in. She's about 5'2", bleach blonde hair, a very unflattering Karen haircut, um, blue eyes. Um, you would think because her husband was murdered, she would look upset. She would look like puffy eyes, red, but it does not look like she's shed any tears. Um, she's very impeccably dressed, and she just has this look, a very, very just snobby look on her face, as she walks in. Um, what can I do for you?
Good morning. Yeah, what time is it? Afternoon, morning?
At this point, it's probably going on about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Uh, good, good evening, Miss. Sorry to bother you. We're just coming to talk about your late husband. We're here investigating his passing.
I was under the impression nobody was investigating that really.
Oh, Well, we're here. We got top peoples on the case.
Right? Well, I just want to
Toppest of
say,
the top.
I just want to say right off the bat, um, my marriage was perfect. I loved my Rolly Bear so much. There's no reason he would have been in such a trashy area.
Have you seen the girls around that area? He says before he can catch himself.
They're low class.
They they are. That's true. That's true. The lower the class, the easier to pick up, though.
Apparently.
Especially if you're a Rolly Bear. I can't imagine that a Rolly Bear, like, they're down low to the ground as they're rolling, and so it's easier to access lower things.
Oh God, why did I send them?
Though perhaps that's a metaphor.
That's what I call my husband. His name is Ronald. I call him my Rolly Bear.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yes.
So
I have tried to go everywhere I can think of to get help. I went to the Dimmer Sisters, but she says the spirits aren't interested in something so trivial. The city council, my father is on the city council, and they refused to help because he was found in Silkshore. So what do you think you people can do for me?
Well,
you know what? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Danny. Or Fred.
it's hard to say. We are learning more and more about this case. The deeper we dig into the various facts and figures and clues. Um, for example, did you know that your Rolly Bear is one of many men who have been found, or in some cases not found, killed for their transgressions in that same part of the city?
I mean, I've heard rumors, but again, our marriage was wonderful. There's no way my Rolly Bear would have been seen with any of those women. He would have
Well,
no
that's
need
why
for
he
that.
tried really hard not to be seen when he was down there. But sometimes, even in the most loving of marriages, there is a desire to just take a walk through places that you normally don't tread. That's not to say he was doing anything untoward. Perhaps just caught up by the perceptions of those seeking prey in that area. Um, you say that you had a happy marriage.
Well, yes.
Are you in mourning now? Is she wearing black?
No, no, she's not. She's wearing like a really nice powder pink like business suit, almost like a pencil skirt and like a suit jacket and like a white blouse.
How long ago was it that Rolly Bear perished again?
He was what was it, found 3 days ago?
I imagine
Are
there's.
you off to a party, man?
No. Why would you ask that? I'm in mourning, can't you tell?
No, I cannot.
Look, I'm quite busy. Is there anything else I can answer for you?
I was just going to say that I do understand that you're probably very busy with all of the matters of estate and just the the amount of paperwork and the administration and the clerks and everything to ensure that uh, all of Roly Bear's effects are handled properly. Um, you you never knew him to go well. I I'm sorry. Ups. Did you have anything else to ask? I
No. You're asking me if I had anything else I wanted to ask?
Yes, that's I'm asking you if you have anything else you want to ask.
No. He turns to he turns to Lady Roly, and he's like, "Was there anything else you wanted to tell us?"
He kind of looks the longer you guys are asking her and the longer you're there, the more flustered she gets. Um and she just says, "Well, I just I don't know. I don't know what else I could possibly tell you. We had a happy marriage. I don't know what could have possibly happened to him."
Do you know if he had any enemies, or did he have like did he owe anybody money?
Well, certainly not. He was a banker. He was very good with money.
I'm keeping an eye open also if there's any like service folks, any like maids besides like the butler, like, um, that are moving through or around the house at all.
Give me a survey roll,
Sure.
please.
Let's go survey.
Um, every so often you will see a maid kind of scurry past the door. Um, but you don't really know, like, you only really see the one and you don't know where she went. You just saw her, like, every so often she'll walk past the door.
Okay.
Um, Now, you guys could, you do have command, consort, or sway that you could use if you want to try to command her to answer a question, or if you would like to try to sway her to answer a question. So that is an option if you feel like she's not giving you straight enough answers.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, I would like to command her to be straight with me.
Okay. It is. I'm gonna say, you know what? Because there's really not much going on. I'm gonna say it is a we're not gonna do risky. It'll be controlled
A controlled zone.
and standard. And then the bonus die is however many dots you have in command.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. What do you say to her when you command her?
I'm like, come on, lady. Nobody's marriage is all sunshine and roses. Every now and then we have our ups and downs. Like, so just be straight. Like, what was going on?
Hey, it's possible that perhaps he would go to a certain place to watch a show, but not because he liked to see, and she kind of like looks around to make sure nobody else is listening. Not because he likes to see nude people. He just likes the music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just wanted to see the velvet drapes. We understand.
Mm-hmm. Like I've recently been there. I can totally see the vibe was great. Uh, and so, but you knew about this, right? It wasn't like he was sneaking out or anything.
Yes, yes, I knew about it. Um, and if I'm gonna be honest, um, I swear that I saw him before his body was found, but after he disappeared. Mm. I swear I saw him. Um, it was in the evening. I called out. He stopped for a moment and then kept going like he didn't hear me, but I know it was him. Um, I hired someone to look for him, but obviously they didn't do their job and my Rolly Bear was killed.
Where did you see him?
I saw him leaving the bank where he works. But I mean, it was all very strange. It was after the bank would have closed, so I don't know what he would have been doing there. Um, I really don't. It must not have been him. The person I hired could not come up with anything. Honestly, I think that they just wanted my money. Um, um,
So, my well, one, who did you hire? And two, what are you doing out on your lonesome at night by the bank after it's closed?
I was
What's wrong that way?
I was walking my sweet little snuffleupagus.
Is there like a dog running around?
You don't see the dog. You hear some yapping. It sounds like it's coming from upstairs, and you do see like a little dog bed in the corner.
And who'd you hire? Your private investigator?
It is a person who came very highly recommended by a friend of mine, who was also having issues in the marriage department. I only know they go by the name Ghost Dancer. That's all I know. I was assured that they would get the job done, and they did not. My friend who recommended um, Ghost Dancer, um, uh, I don't want to talk out of turn, but she had something odd. Um, Her fiance, they went to a party. Um, she said she saw her fiance talking to a masked woman, which was odd because it wasn't even a masquerade. And that night, he called off their engagement and left her. She
Probably went to
said
the bank.
he cleaned out their bank account, and he is apparently one of the missing men. I don't know. I don't know if he's actually missing or if he's just off with his new
Mistress?
lady friend.
Well, Miss Constance, this is what I would say. I would say that I hope that your finances and your husband's were not hopelessly entangled, because I fear that you did see him at the bank and that he was making a final withdrawal. Oh boy.
Well, my money, I come from the Brightstone Mitchners, so my money is safe. But I did notice that there was some funds missing. But the lady doesn't like to talk about that in mixed company.
Yes, so that's that's interesting. I Akam,
Yes.
This seems like it's a ploy to drain people's bank accounts. But many of the victims aren't victims of means. Perhaps this is a new development. I'm sorry, Miss Constance. Um, I think that's all we need. If we learn anything, we'll be sure to pass on the message.
Right. Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm sure you can see yourselves out. I
It's
am in
just right
mourning.
that way. Yes. Best of luck.
Thank you. You too.
Hmm.
Take care of yourself.
You too. All right. So, what is Mercury up to?
I am going to see Eckerd.
Okay. And who is Eckerd?
Eckerd is a corpse thief.
Fun.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
tend to do a whole lot of the biological stuff, but it comes in handy sometimes. Um,
where do you typically meet?
oh, um, Eckerd probably he would have like a small shack, let's call it that. Um, basically his personal dwelling. It's not like a corpse thief has a business. He doesn't have a storefront or anything.
If somebody was going to have a storefront like that, it would probably be in Duskvol.
Well, yeah.
All right. Do you just walk up and knock on the door? What do you do?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear like a grunt from the inside, and he comes and he kind of peeks out the door. Oh, it's you. What do you want?
There have been bodies. Well, I'm actually not sure if there have been bodies, but if there were, I'm sure you have heard of them. The men that have been going missing in. He would actually probably. No, he wouldn't be in Silkshore. The men that have been going missing in Silkshore.
I've
I'm
heard.
sure you've heard.
Mm.
There was one body appeared. The rest have not, that I have heard of. Have you?
No, and it's odd. I fully expected to at least hear something, but I haven't heard anything about it. I did hear the one body that was found was really weird that they couldn't figure out how he died.
Mm.
But I haven't. Whoever whoever is getting rid of these bodies is doing a damn good job.
Do you know where Clearmont's body ended up?
Yeah. I do have that. 1 second. Bellwater Crematorium.
All right.
They the rumor is that the spirit wardens came and snatched that body right up, took it right to the crematorium.
Of course they did. Okay. Well. Thank you.
You're welcome. The only thing I can say is if somebody is getting rid of these bodies, they're either burning them or they're sinking them
Right.
because otherwise they would have been found by now.
Hmm. Oh, they're not dead yet. All right. Well,
Or they're not dead yet.
that was all I needed. Unless you've heard anything more regarding these disappearances, but I'm sure I probably know more at this point.
No, I mean, people are saying some weird stuff's happening, but I haven't heard too much. If I do happen across a weird body, I will let you know. But so
Please.
far, no bodies have dropped yet.
All right. Thank you.
Of course. Do you need anything else?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I have a fresh one that I have to take care of.
Yep. No worries.
Um,
And she'll head
so
back to their HQ, as they've been calling it, their hideout, to meet back up with the others
okay.
as soon as they
Um,
finish.
the two that are leaving Claremont Manor, as you are heading back, um, are you just heading straight back? Are you doing anything else? You're muted.
Uh, yeah, I'm not planning on making any other side trips unless Fred is.
Fred is muted.
No longer. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a little skulking, but I don't know that there's any uh, end game to that at this point. So, um, unless there's something that we notice as we're kind of cruising through, and that is definitely something I do, is just kind of keep my eyes open for that sort of thing.
Um,
Um,
roll me a hunt or a survey, whichever one you would prefer.
okay. And what's our position on this?
I'm gonna say it's controlled.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Um, so as you are leaving Brightstone, and I am assuming, and please tell me if I'm wrong, I am assuming that you left Brightstone and you headed to the docks to Crow's Foot to get to your headquarters. Is that correct, or did you take a different route?
Um, if that's the route that makes the most sense, yep.
Okay.
Mm.
Um, as you cross over the bridge and you get into the docks, um, you kind of start feeling like maybe you're being watched, and you notice that on one of the roofs across the way there is somebody standing up there. You can't tell who it is. You can't tell if they are actually watching you. You just kind of have that like weird feeling that maybe this person is watching you.
Let's go see what they're all about. So I quietly let Occam know. Um, don't look now. I think someone's keeping tabs on us. Do we want to go and say hello?
Uh, how many people?
Well, I only saw the one.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's uh let's go make a new friend.
Okay. And what we'll do is we'll kind of sneak around, and once kind of turning a corner, start making our way in the side alleys and darkness to creep up on this individual who is watching. And I will try to, I mean, I don't know how prowly Occam is, but I will kind of take lead on keeping us in the shadows then.
I'm gonna have both
Uh,
of you roll a prowl, and it's gonna be risky.
okay. I only have one prowl and risky. Standard, one bonus die. Got a 4 and a 3.
I'll
Okay.
take those sixes.
Yeah. Um, you were doing fine. You like become one with the shadows. Um, Occam kind of struggles a little bit. You can kind of like there's like some people taking a walk and they kind of like give you a funky look, but you eventually are like kind of follow Fred's footsteps and kind of blend into the shadows. Um, and you said you're gonna try to get up behind them.
Right, yeah, trying to make our way around. Do okay. Yeah, trying to get around and get past and kind of sneak up on them.
Okay. Yeah, you are absolutely able to do that. Once you get behind them, what would you like to do?
Well, we're getting behind them with Occam, so Occam's the one who's gonna grab them.
Okay. Um, are you like physically grabbing them, or are you like just kind of like,
Uh,
"Hey, what are you doing?"
yes, I'm gonna to physically grab them and say, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Roll me either. I'm gonna let you pick whichever one you have more dots in. If you have dots in either of them, either a skirmish or a wreck.
I have two dots in both because I
Okay.
didn't know what the difference was, and they both sounded like something I would be wanting to do.
Okay.
Yeah, give me. I'm gonna take my hands back. Really. I will be rolling. Let's go with skirmish.
Okay.
That because Rex sounds way more final. Risky or what's the position?
Um, I'm gonna say it's risky because if you like step wrong, they'll be able to like hear you. Okay. You do as you kind of like go to grab them, you do kind of like step on a loose shingle and make a little bit of noise and they kind of like start to turn, but you're able to kind of grab them and hold on to them.
All right, so I kind of, as they're turning, I kind of get them in like a half Nelson, like chicken wing type thing, and like, and and turn them to face Fred.
As Akam turns to face you, it's a woman and she's about maybe 5'8", and very, very muscular. She has very pale, almost gray hair. Um, what do you want? What is this? What's going on?
What do you want? You're the one watching us as we move through.
How do you know I was watching? I could just be hanging out up here.
You ever get that
Yes,
tail on the
you
back of your
could.
neck? Sorry.
The back of neck feels, yes, exactly that. I mean,
Yeah,
I could just shiv you and we could go our way.
that's a good point. Um, yes, I was watching you. Um, I was wondering why you were with my client.
Are you,
Oh,
um, are you
you're the one she
ghost
hired?
cancer?
Yes. She hasn't fully paid me, so if you're trying to get in on my cut, I'm not gonna stand for that.
I, I don't know that she anticipates needing to pay you the rest of the money you expect. She's fairly convinced that you failed to uh, follow through on the
Do
job.
your job.
Yes,
I don't know what she
as
wanted me to do. I mean, I followed him like she wanted, but he turned up dead before I could figure out what was going on.
right. Um, what did you figure out,
Not
if
much.
anything?
Um, I I found him. He was in the shore. with some woman, and I followed them back to a dilapidated house in Six Towers, and they were there for the whole night. I left, I came back, and I didn't get another sight of him, and then I heard that he was dead.
Yeah, that's okay. Um, where was this house?
I mean, it was one of the like half fallen down houses in Six
That
Towers over by the water.
that's like the least helpful way to explain which house it is. Um,
Um, if you go to Six Towers on Juniper Street, it leads down almost to the water. It's one of the back in the back row, and she gives you an address. It's um, one of these houses back here.
okay. That makes a lot more sense. Um, well, best of luck getting the rest of your funds. We are not trying to horn in on your territory, if you will. Um, Akam, do you have anything?
Uh, nah, and he lets go of the hold and kind of like brushes, like straightens up her stuff that he ruffled up, and he's like, "All right, you take care, all right."
Right.
Yes.
Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Yes. Best of luck getting money from the woman who thinks you didn't do the job. She didn't seem inclined uh, to be forthcoming in that sort of way, but maybe you'll have some luck there. Um, the best wishes. Uh, Occam, they're probably going to get a little worried if we don't meet up with them soon, huh?
Oh yeah, let's get back. I'm starving anyway. It's just
Hmm.
been like we had breakfast, and then it's just been a bunch of whiskey, and my stomach's getting fucking tumbly. I need to put something in there.
All right. So
Yes. And you'll need plenty of energy for your visit tonight at the Velvet Drapes.
so do you guys meet back at your hideout, or do you meet at the Velvet Drape?
Um, wherever we're supposed to meet, which I
Okay.
believe was the Velvet Drape, right? Velvet
Oh yeah,
Drapes?
yeah.
Yeah, I was
Or-
gonna say
Yeah.
Ava went back to the HQ. I
I
went back
mixed
to
up
the
which
Velvet.
I mixed up which one we decided.
All right. Um, so nobody else has any weird encounters. You guys are all able to make it back to the Velvet Drape. Once you are there, what would you guys like to?
We should get one of these private rooms to discuss business.
Okay.
All right.
The bouncer is the same guy that led you into the office when you first got there. And he's been instructed to basically give you guys whatever you need. So if you tell him that you need one of the private rooms to meet in, he will absolutely take you over. He leads you back in the same way, and instead of going to the left to go to the office, he takes you up these stairs to the right, and takes you into one of the rooms. Um, it's not an office. It is there's a bed, and that's pretty much it.
So this is obviously not the champagne room.
All right.
No,
What
it
did
is
you
not one of the higher class rooms.
Digger, what did you just find out?
Um, it's likely that we're dealing with some sort of variants of the vampires, energy vampires. From what I've gathered, they suck out the energy from their prey, and if not entirely drained, they remain. They keep control on the person they fed from.
That would explain why no other bodies have shown up.
Yes. So that's pretty much what I had. Usual. Well, vampires tends to feed about once a week, maybe twice, depending on the well, depending on the type, I guess. I'm not sure. This is very vague, but
Hmm.
my contact is still looking into it. He may contact me later if he figures anything else out.
Did you two get anything from the widow?
Uh, yeah, the widow and the victim. It seems like they had some marital problems. And, but she knew that he would come down here and frequent the well, yeah, this place every week. And it seems that she says she swore that she saw him before before he was missing, but after he was dead or whatnot, cleaning out their bank account.
I'm sure you got that backwards,
Probably.
because I'm quite certain she did not see him after he was dead.
Fred?
No, but more importantly, they're probably all having a party at the end of Juniper Street in Six Towers. We should just go there and say hello.
Uh, if they're what I think they are, might be pretty dangerous.
Then we say hello, but we bring weapons.
Spirit wardens have taken the body. There is likely no recourse in that area. He's already gone to the crematorium. I'm not sure if the body is even still whole.
That's a shame. Cutting it open could have given us a marvel of information.
And a
Um,
mess.
But if you have a location, then perhaps we can apply our expertise in this.
Absolutely. I think we
here's
should definitely
something.
check it out.
Yes, we should. But there's something that bugs me a little bit. If that energy vampire is keeping all these men around as trolls, why kill him?
No, because
Sounds foolish to me. The
He
noble
is the
man.
only body that's shown up.
Yeah. Vampires are usually not like feral creatures or whatnot. This one would have been smart enough to know that a nobleman would attract more attention.
Do we
well,
know, like, how old Claremont was?
He was probably in his late 30s.
Yeah, okay.
well, um,
I suppose we shall ask her when we meet.
perhaps. I think it may have to do with the fact that he had been seen after his disappearance, both by his wife and by the investigator she sent to find him after she realized uh, that he might still be alive, because there is a window between his disappearance and his death. Um, and the widow did see him in that time frame uh, at the bank after hours. And one of the other victims, it does sound like he uh, broke off his wedding and then emptied his accounts. So, besides draining them of life force and whatever vapors, uh, apparently they're also, if they can, enriching themselves financially.
Well, let's be on our way to Six Towers.
Yes, because they probably have a lot of money. That could be our money.
Hmm.
And
Real
I
quick,
do
I
like
just wanted
money.
to remind everybody we have about 30, maybe 40 minutes left before the next game comes on. So you have about 30 minutes to get in any last minute entries for the raffle. Again, we're giving away a game code for the Ascent and a plush red dragon made by Janity. Hashtag
Nice.
RemPC in the chat for one entry. Um, and I am spacing on everything else. So give me just a minute so I can look at my notes.
Well, I can
Um,
stall while you do that, and I have a kind of a demo of Janity's work right here. She's the little
oh,
himp,
Yes.
oh,
and
so
thank you.
thank you.
But yes, they're very cool little like knitted creatures.
Crocheted, I think.
Crochet. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know the technicality of fiber work. That was my area of expertise.
I used to crochet occasionally.
But yeah,
Do it.
the way to win or to get entries are in the Twitch chat. So make sure you get any last minute entries in so you can hopefully win the bundle. All right, back
We're
to our
about to
game.
wreck a vampire.
Um, okay, so you guys get to Six Towers. You are approaching the address that Ghost Dancer gave you. How do you want to go about this?
We
So,
are. Well, we're going to go in quietly.
Oh man.
and then eventually someone will find us, and then you can get loud. There
Yeah,
will
pretty
come a
If
much.
time.
things go wrong, you can get loud. Yes.
When we well, actually, when we get near the mansion, I'll take a minute to attune to the environment, see if there's anything that I could pick up that give us more information, or if something's gonna come up and bite us in the arse.
Yep, I will probably move ahead and just keep an eye on things and see if I can figure out any movements as we plan our venture, as it were.
Okay. So the house, she said it was dilapidated and partially falling, but it's actually it's very run down looking, but it looks at least mostly structurally sound. Um, do you because you guys have a map and keys for all of the sewer entrances and like all of the under like the caverns and stuff. Do you want to go that route or do you want to go in through the actual house? How do you guys want to approach this?
I'd say Digger is voting for going through the sewer, but anyone else can speak up if they want.
That would
Yeah,
probably be
I
best.
yes.
I smell like shit for my date later.
If this is
We're
successful, you will not need to return tonight.
Well, then I think we should come back tomorrow.
I said need. What you do on your free time is up to you.
Fair enough.
And also, are you just kind of walking in like you own the place or are you trying to prowl?
Oh,
I
we're
think
gonna do
we
this quietly.
yeah.
I'm going to need prowl rolls from everybody. It is
Yeah.
risky.
I was afraid you were gonna say that.
What's the effect?
Yeah, but I think we should do this as a teamwork role that Fred will lead, and then this way we take the highest roll, and then I get stress for everyone who fucks up.
That sounds
Ooh.
very fair.
Yeah.
It's risky and standard, and that is what we will do.
Well, I have no dots in prowl, so we'll see.
It's not too bad.
Question
Digger
is, do
got
I
a
want to
6,
push
so that's good.
myself? I think I am
So,
going to push myself on this roll.
Okay.
um,
Will it
I,
let...
I so the way that the group action is going to work is we're going to take the highest roll, which Digger already has a 6. And then what happens is all the dice that are ones screw me. So if whatever you're doing is going to roll more dice for more potential ones,
I don't think that's the way it works. I'm pretty sure the way teamwork rolls is that for every... So you still just count the highest dice of everybody that rolls, but for everybody that's below 6, I believe you take 1 stress. Or is it everybody that
Eric, for
fails?
each player that rolled a 1 to 3 as their best result, as their best
As
result.
their best. Okay,
Right.
yeah. So you want me to have the bonus? Well, if I don't roll push myself and take the 1 die, I roll 2 dice and take the lowest.
Okay. Well, if you want to push, it's just like I said, I don't know like what the cost differential is for you to do that and for me to then and me to get a stress, right? Like
It's just too stressed to push myself. But yeah, I failed because I got a 3.
okay. It looks like I'll take 2 stress off of that,
Yep.
but we get inside just
You
fine.
get inside just fine. Um,
Clickety
okay.
clickety.
All right. The catacombs are very windy. But you guys have a map, so you know pretty much where exactly you're going. Um, as you come around to the area that is under this house, um, you smell something horrific as you get closer and closer and closer. The closer that you get to being under this house, the worse the smell is. And as you come around that last corner, you see quite a few of the bodies laying there. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what did it with them.
Yep.
there you go, Digger. There's plenty of.
I I think it's a little late, but let me have a look. So I guess he's gonna try and quickly study the bodies to try to learn more about the situation and what they're gonna face.
Mercury was going to do the same.
All right, can we work together on that? I'm not sure if it's worth doing the stress thing.
So there's assist, which you one player assists another player. You take a stress, but they get 1+1 to their dice, and then
Okay.
There's setup, which I don't think this is good for setup.
No. You have 1 dot or 2 in study.
One.
We both have 1. I'll just take another stress to give you plus... Is it +1 die or just +1?
It's +1 die to their roll.
Okay, yeah.
All
I
right.
couldn't remember the way it worked in Blades.
What position is that?
Um, More risky, just because
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't
trying to
know.
make it quick, and I don't know. And standard,
Yeah, we'll just do standard.
so 2 bonus die because I got 1 point. I'm getting another one. Oh, who's gone?
We lost
Chris.
Chris.
5.
And the spirit, yeah, in the spirit of keeping going, 5.
So The body mimics what you heard from about the body that was found. Um, all of the bodies are pale. Some of them are a little older, so they look like they're decomposing a little bit more. But you found one of the more fresh bodies. There are no um, marks on the body at all, so it doesn't look like they were bit, they weren't stabbed or shot or anything like that. Um, as far as you can tell, it looks like either they had some kind of a heart attack or a stroke, or they maybe just got drained of their life essence. So it kind of like goes along with what you've heard so far.
They were
But you
very
don't really know.
Poisons.
obviously devapored.
Yeah, something like that.
Technically, some poisons could leave the same, similar uh, corpses.
This is
Yeah, but
true. But just a cursory study
Hmm.
that you guys did wouldn't be able to tell you if it was a poison.
Yeah.
and witnesses, well, their account kind of ruled out poison, unless it's just part of the process.
Well, we'll be sure to ask them.
Yeah.
As you finish up with the body and you start to continue on, um, you start to hear what sounds like faint music playing from, it sounds like it's coming from up inside of the house. From where you are, you don't necessarily hear any voices yet, but you do hear some faint music playing.
Is it Barry
Make it.
Manilow?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, at least it'll make it easier to sneak in.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well, let's find the entrance, shall we?
Okay. You follow your map that you have, and it leads you um, to the basement of this house. And as you get into the basement, the music is a little louder, and you can hear voices from inside. You hear a woman's voice, and she is laughing, and you hear a couple of men's voices, but you can't really hear what they're saying. Um, do you guys just keep heading up to get into the
Let's
house?
crash the party.
All right. Are you still trying to sneak, or are you just walking in?
I think we
Uh,
would still be trying to sneak. We want to
Especially,
yeah.
catch them unaware.
And is
and
the door like? Is it locked or?
No.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. Nope, the door leading up is unlocked.
Well, they're just asking for it.
um, so you head into the um house. The music is louder, and as you come in, so the basement leads up into uh a kitchen that is very dirty. It looks like nobody has actually like cleaned and like lived here for quite a while. um as you leave the kitchen and it heads into this big open living area, there are candles all around. And you see there is the tall, really, really skinny, gaunt man um, standing over by across the room by the staircase. Um, there is a man that you don't recognize sitting on the floor. And he has this very like vacant look in his eyes, and he's just kind of staring straight ahead. And the woman, who is very beautiful, long blonde hair, wearing the peacock mask, is dancing with another man who again looks very just kind of not there. And she's like laughing and like, twirl me around.
I mean, she's just living her best life.
Yeah, but
Well, I
she's
can't really,
murdering our
I can't
clients.
really be mad at that. I know. Okay. Okay.
Ooh, I want to. Let me see what I have access to.
Occam, do murder. Ah, damn it.
Well, I was looking at what
Uh,
poisons I might have on me. Ooh, does that do what I think? It does. So, since we haven't yet to be noticed, um, oh, we should probably declare what load we have.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I did a 5 load on the way out.
Okay.
yeah, me too.
yeah, I feel like normal would fit for this.
We weren't too sure, so he brought he brought his lightning rod and his spirit bottles and shit.
Yeah. So at the very least, Mercury has on her at least one bandolier of alchemicals and her blowgun and darts, because she's going to take one of those darts, fill it with one of the liquids in her bandolier, and try and get the woman.
Okay. Are you? I'm sorry.
What
Did you
is
say you're?
that?
How are you? Are you throwing it? Are you using
I've got a
like a?
blowgun.
You got it. That's right. You said that. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So for that, you are going
Can I make
to
an argument for wreck?
go ahead. What's your argument?
I'm no good at skirmish.
You know what? Yeah. What the hell? Let's do it.
All right. Risky standard?
We are gonna do. It's gonna be risky, and then
If it
um.
matters, the poison is standstill, which causes temporary paralysis.
Let's do limited.
I was afraid of that. All right. What's my stress at? I can push myself. You can improve the effect by taking stress, right? I'm pretty sure. Let me find it. Oh, where's that at?
I want to say yes.
Where is pushing? Where the hell is that at? God. God.
I just had it open to it too, and I don't
I
know.
know, me too. Pushing yourself. Take 1d to your roll, add 1 level to your effect. Yes, I can increase my effect by taking 2 stress.
All right.
So, I'm going to take on some more stress to make my effect a standard effect.
Okay.
Let's. Oh. 6.
Describe what happens. You absolutely nail it.
Yeah, so Mercury pulls out her blowgun, takes one of the darts, fills it with one of the potions on her, strapped across her, and fires it at the woman. Direct hit, like right in her shoulder. And she is temporarily paralyzed. And so just kind of, stops mid skip or whatever she was
Mid
doing.
twirl.
Mid twirl, yeah. And just kind of.
Okay. So before anybody on her side has a chance to react, is there anything that the two of you want to do? Because I imagine the three of you could have been doing all of this at the same time.
Yeah. But I'll let Digger go first because one of the problems feels like it's more of a Digger problem.
Which problem are you referring to?
Like wasn't there like a more within their own capacity minion?
Yeah, I guess I could try something akin to that. As a cultist, I believe if I know what the cultists are following, I can commend them more efficiently, right? Let me make sure I read that correctly and find it again. I'm sorry about that.
Course.
Where was that?
Is it the the secret ways to consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, or demons? Once you've completed this
Yes,
one, that
yes.
is your special ability. You get one +1 dice to command cultists who worship um, the ancient power, forgotten god, or demon.
Okay, and is that part of that? Are these guys being trawled to that vampire would be part of that, so I could command them to stand down?
I'll allow it. She's
Okay,
not really a demon, but they they are worshiping her almost. So I'll allow it.
okay. So yeah, he's gonna. Well, I'm gonna roll first. So I got 1 point in command, so I get 2 in total. Well, +2. It's a risky, I assume.
Yes.
And standard again.
Since you're commanding them to stand down, I would say that's probably more limited, because it's not
Okay,
necessarily gonna last very long.
I got a 5.
Okay, yeah. So what do you say to them?
Familiars, we have your master under control. Well, wait, this voice doesn't sound like familiars. We have our master under control. Stand down, or will be taken down just as her.
All right. The um both the gentleman she is dancing with, the gentleman on the couch, and the big guy up against the stairs because he is her familiar. He's actually her familiar. Um, they all stand down.
Okay.
Um, is this a situation where like I should do something or Occam should do something to make this permanent? Said to Digger directly.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
Occam,
what
you you
character
should get
sheet he was using, so I'm just gonna admit
Occam
that.
is using Cutter.
Yeah, I had two of them though, so I don't know if he was using leader or
Uh,
boxer. So I'll let you guys pick. Would you rather a leader or a boxer?
I think he was
Feel like he was a boxer.
boxer. Yeah.
Okay.
Considering, oh yeah, because he's even got the alias there listed as Occam. Because I
Oh,
can
did I miss it?
see the cutter sheet.
Did I miss it?
Dworak Malnoir is the name on the sheet.
Yeah, this looks right. 2 skirmish, 2 wreck.
I only see
I
one
don't.
cutter sheet, so it's just under characters.
Oh, sorry. It's late and I don't know how to read. Yes. um, all right. So, Occam is gonna. Which one do you want him to fight? Her because she's the threat right now.
Um,
Do they
is
count as
she?
a small gang?
I thought she was poisoned for the moment.
She is.
Yes.
She is poisoned, and all the other ones are standing down.
Yeah, so but the big guy, because that's the question we asked Digger was like, is what he did gonna last a long time? and so like the big familiar guy, I feel like that's like that guy's super dangerous.
I would say that all three of them will stay commanded for at least 3 rounds.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go after who seems like they're the most dangerous, or will be dangerous again sooner than later.
Okay. Um, he is going to enact not to be trifled with. Um, he is going to perform a feat of physical force that verges on superhuman. And he is going to run up and punch. It says he has fine hand weapons. I'm going to say for his hand weapons, he has like really fancy, like brass knuckles. Um,
Silver knuckles.
yeah. And he is going to try taking her out because hopefully, if she is out of the picture, it will break the thrall on everybody else. Um, so he is going to use wreck. Bonus. Does he get an extra bonus dice for the thingy? Just, so we're gonna do risky, and if I can press the right buttons, that would be delightful. We're gonna do that, and then okay. Yeah. So he walks up and just like bam, bam, and she. I'm gonna say she takes 2 trauma for that because she's already paralyzed and poisoned. So she's gonna take 2 trauma from that. So, is there anything that Fred would like to do?
Yeah, I mean, we need to finish that off. So Fred's gonna come in, um, and try to end it, with a little. Fred is not as impressive at doing fighty stuff, so Fred's just got a little bit of skirmish going on.
All right.
This is risky, I suppose.
You know what? For the sake of time, and because she's already paralyzed, poisoned, and has been punched twice, I'm gonna say it's controlled. It's fine.
Okay, and then standard.
Yeah, we'll just do standard.
All right. Uh, let's see what happens. A 5. So a
Yeah,
5.
a 5 will work. What do you do?
So we've got this knifey guy, and so she is going in, and she basically is going to uh, yeah, she kind of like has to step back in and watch, and then she's got just a little knife, and she's going to put that knife up, and just she's trying to like just kind of jam it up under her jaw into her head
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
to
You can absolutely get that,
put an end to her.
and she is done. Uh,
Hmm.
as she kind
Too
of
bad.
crumbles to the ground. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Um, the 3 gentlemen all kind of crumble to the ground too. They're not dead. They've been fed on so much that they kind of crumple to the ground and pass out. Um, so you guys are pretty much free to loot or leave or whatever you would like to do.
I guess we
Yes
won't
and
get the
yes.
chance to ask her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something to ask? What did we
Oh,
not?
it's all
Oh,
right.
I'll be studying her for a little while. And
Yeah.
that's what he's gonna loot, her buddy.
Digger
Flings
loots the vampire. This has
Yeah.
value.
the entire vampire.
Yoink! This is mine now. Um,
Um,
in the house, you find 8 coin.
Ooh.
because she had been taking the noblemen and draining their bank accounts.
Mm.
So you find quite a bit of coin in the house. Um, you do find a little journal, like a leather bound journal. So if you wanted to take that and
Yes,
study it,
please.
um, so yeah, that's about it. You can search the other bodies if you want, but there really isn't anything on the bodies that are in
Mm.
the catacombs.
Yeah, those are gross. I'm going to stay away from them.
I mean, I'll take. I'm already carrying a bodies, but I'll take like bits of the other bodies to like cross-reference um information from what I gather from her body.
Hold on. If you take your body, I have a friend who can get you the others, at least one or two of them.
That'd
Well,
be great.
friend. Acquaintance. And we should
Yes.
probably send somebody to alert the Bluecoats that they have unconscious people here.
Yeah.
He's looking them over. You're like, they're probably gonna wake up in a few hours and go back home.
But we can let someone know they're here. That seems
Just
reasonable.
once they once they make it like outside, Mercury hails down the nearest like urchin child and find the nearest Bluecoat. Tell them you heard. Oh, hold on. What district? We're in Six Towers.
Yes.
At the end of Juniper Street.
At the end of Juniper Street, that's right.
I'm trying to think if the Bluecoats would even care.
One of them might be noble, so probably.
There's a rich guy who's dead in his house.
Yeah, and
It's going to be more
there's
subtle than
either a
that.
dead noble downstairs or there's nobles upstairs.
I'd rather they not find the ones downstairs. Otherwise, my friend won't be able to get them for Digger. Anyway, tell the nearest Bluecoats that you saw a fancy guy go into this house and then heard shouting later.
Okay.
And she'll give him like, I hate that they call it coin because she gives him like a coin, but not one coin.
Right. All right. So you guys go back to Kitty, who is extremely grateful that you figured out what was going on. She gives you 4 coin on top of what you've already stolen, and says drinks are on the house anytime you want to come by. I will owe you a favor. Thank you for helping me. Bezobaz also gives you another 4 coin, and again, owe you a favor. And any work that I have will be sent in your way. Good job.
These
Thank you
are
so much.
these are the nicest criminal overlords ever. I love them so much. They're like,
Well,
if you could just
this
do
is
this
a
thing
one-shot
for me.
shot, you can thank.
We need
y'all
to play
could just
that
do this
again.
for me, that would be great. I would appreciate it so much. Just yeah.
You guys are set for life.
All right, we need that drawing
Yes.
soon.
All
Now-ish.
right. Yay.
Thank you guys so much for playing tonight. I really appreciate it. I really hope you guys had fun.
That was great.
I
great
had a lot
time.
of fun after I stopped being so nervous.
Well, we should play that again at some point. I
would
want to
love
see
that.
where our weird crew of people ends up in the future, especially now that they're loaded.
Yeah, that's a lot of coins.
Yeah,
A lot of coin.
if he said he was going to pay us 4, she gave us 4. We found 8. We have 16 coins, which is enough to give us each 3, and there's an extra.
You
All
can
right,
also
I
use
have.
the coin to like buy stuff for our place.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
absolutely.
we could also
upgrade your
stash
lair.
it.
Yep.
Ooh.
I have our winner, and I
Ooh.
apologize in advance if I mess up your name. Unexiled is our winner.
Oh,
Did I say that right?
nice.
Ooh.
So congratulations. I will be messaging you to get your stuff to you. Thank you for everybody who hung out. I know it's getting late. Thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you to my players. But yeah, I think that's it. Up next is another Power Rangers one shot, which I'm super excited. I am jumping from this to the next one.
My goodness.
Yeah, I
Wow.
go
Themed.
straight through sexy. I keep saying sexy sword lesbians. Thirsty sword lesbians.
I mean,
Well, I
yes.
mean, yeah.
Sounds like yes. So
Yeah.
all right. Well,
So,
All right, so we will be. The stream will be taking a quick break. Is this one? I think this may be
I
Is
think
this a
that's
half hour or 15 minutes?
I think
this is
this was,
yeah.
30-minute break. All right.
and then
Mm.
come back for some Power Rangers. It's gonna be fun.
And I'm gonna go nap before I run my game after Power Rangers.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
your game too.
all right.
I'll see how long I can stay up and if I can at least
See
catch the beginning
y'all.
of.
All right, thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye.